Seattle Seahawks blow out the Carolina Panthers 40-7. Yikes. You're watching the MJ Take on Sports Fan Entertainment. Hello and welcome to the MJ Take on Sports Fan Entertainment as the Seattle Seahawks trout the Carolina Panthers 40-7 on Sunday Night Football. And my God, one of my guarantees in my picks video for this week was that the Panthers would cover the +7 spread. Nope, they weren't even close. They wouldn't have covered a +30 spread today as they lose by 33 points. And I mean, it was so bad and so comical from the very first play, or I guess technically the second play after the kickoff, as the Panthers inexplicably start Derek Anderson. That's right, you heard that correct. They start Derek Anderson, and we learn later on, thanks to Michelle Tafoya, that Cam Newton was benched for a dress code violation. And maybe that's correct. I've never heard of that. It seems odd to me. Dress code is more of what could have you been wearing? It's more of an NFL regulation than it is a team regulation thing. You would think they just tell him to, take this off or whatever and then go back to the locker room. I don't know what he was wearing. I mean, someone tweeted something perfectly saying the only thing he could have been wearing that would make this make sense if he came out with a shirt saying "Screw Ron Rivera" or something to that sort, or I don't know, "Screw Donald Trump" or something ridiculous. I don't know, man. I don't know. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Doesn't make any sense to anybody. Maybe this happened earlier in the week. Maybe he came to a practice or a meeting with something he should have been wearing, dressing like Allen Iverson or something. I don't know. But they bench him for that. And Derek Anderson, I'm not going to blame him. He throws a pass to Mike Tolbert in the flat. Okay, and this pass is a little too far outside for Mike Tolbert. I mean, this guy's a fullback. The guy weighs like 300 pounds. I mean, realistically, 240, but man, that guy's fat. He's a fullback, so he can get away with it, but man, that guy's big. So he throws it to Mike Tolbert's fat arms, and it bounces off of his hands, right? And it goes straight to Mike Morgan, linebacker for the Seattle Seahawks, intercepted. And you say, wow. I mean, you really bench Cam Newton, the best player on your offense at least, and you get intercepted. It was incredible. And from there, it was just bad, man. I mean, they just didn't have a chance. I mean, there was a small opportunity when the Cam Newton found Ginn Jr. for what was a touchdown of like 40 yards or something like that. A beautiful deep ball. And that's Cam Newton's move. I mean, he can do that and do it well. And you said, okay, 10-7, they can maybe compete and maybe still win this game. But then from there, the Seahawks just ran away with this football game. And I do mean ran, as Thomas Rawls came back today, and this guy has some nice agility, some nice pop, some nice speed after his injury, and that is nice to see. This Seattle Seahawks team, I feel that they match up really well with the Dallas Cowboys, and that's really what we're talking about here, right? And when it comes to the NFC, I think we're talking about two teams, unless if the Giants go on one of their miracle runs, or maybe, who knows, maybe the Falcons if they're finally ready to do something, but I don't think anyone's going to bet on that. We're talking about the Seahawks and the Cowboys. Everyone has this as the NFC Championship game. And this Seahawks team, they match up well, but I need to see more offensive weapons and players doing more, and that includes Russell Wilson, by the way. I need to see him doing more, because if it does get to a point where it becomes a little bit of a shootout, not too much of one because your defense will slow them down, but if it comes to a point where you need to score 27, I'm not sure that the Seahawks can score 27. I'm just not sure of that right now. Now, after this game, I'm becoming more sure of it, but this is at home. And the Seahawks are very good at home. They've regained their home luster. They really didn't have it last season. They have it again. They're now 6-0 at home, but on the road, they struggle, man. They lost to the Rams on the road. They lost to the Bucs on the road. They beat the Patriots on the road, but I feel like this team, they just kind of sleep on the road. But what they do in their defense, I believe, is that and maybe it's not even their defense, but they at the road or on the road, I should say, in the regular season, I think they don't care. Or I think they can sleep. I think they cannot play as hard and they lose. But in the playoffs, like when they had to go at Carolina in the playoffs last season, they played pretty freaking well, right? They had to go they were in Seattle in 2014, 2013. I mean, like, they play well on the road. I mean, in the playoffs, I think when everything is saying, okay, we need to win this game, like against the Patriots in this regular season, when they need to care and they know they need to care, they show up well. But when they're facing the Rams and the Bucs, they sleep and they lose, right? So, I mean, this is a team that if they face the Cowboys in Dallas in the NFC Championship game, I like how they match up, but I need to see more offensive guys doing stuff. And today I saw more offensive guys doing stuff. Thomas Rawls, he really entrusted a lot of energy into this football team, really was a driving force to me for this entire team. I mean, from the beginning onward, I mean, he played really well. I was really impressed by him and what he brought to this football team. You got to get CJ Prosise back in the lineup as well. You also have this guy, Tromaine Pope, who really didn't show much, but you have a number of running backs here, so you have to like that if you're Seattle. Tyler Lockett even had a 75-yard rush today on an end around, and you have to like that as well because he really hasn't been doing anything this season. Let's just call it what it is, but he definitely had his best game of the season, I would say, tonight. So let's go back to trashing the Carolina Panthers, shall we? And first of all, let's start at the top. That is the quarterback, Cam Newton. So first of all, okay, I tweeted during this game, after this game actually, that Cam Newton is 6 years into his career, is having the worst year of his career. And it's actually not by much, but it's true. Look at the stats. It'll back it up. And also, this is probably the worst record he's had. He's trending towards. He went 6-10 his rookie year. He may not even go 6-10 this season. So he's having the worst year of his career. And God, you get benched. I mean, I can anyone remember anything like this? I mean, it hasn't happened for a while. A team suspending their quarterback. I mean, this happens in college, like Jameis Winston. Okay, he got benched for standing up on the lunchroom table and saying, fuck her right in the pussy. Okay, he got benched for that. But in the NFL, man, that is bad. And Jameis Winston has grown up. But Cam Newton, man, this is going to do nothing but hurt your image and continue to hurt your play. And look, guys, Cam Newton just isn't very good. Go and look at his career stats. Last year, he was fantastic. But last year was the outlier. He's been a quarterback with a passer rating in the 80s for his entire career. And this year is his worst year, as he may not even get 80 now. I think after this game, he's going to be below 80. I mean, he had a 72 passer rating today. The offensive line today wasn't even the problem. He got hit 4 times, but he didn't get sacked. He was running around okay. It's tough to play Seattle, right? And you're going to get some sort of pressure on you. So that's just to be expected. But his completion percentage is honestly piss poor. It's 55%. After this game, it may be 54% because he only completed 14 of 32 today, one of which was a long ball to Ted Ginn. He's not completing passes. He's not playing well. He's not reading defense as well as he was last year. Last year, everything was going well. Everything was going right. But last year was the outlier, man. Last year was odd. Last year was peculiar. Someone tweeted me. Someone asked, why is he playing poorly this year? I'm saying, no, this is who he is. Last year, we need to be asking, why did he play well? Because that wasn't him. That wasn't the Panthers team. That's why no one saw that coming. No one could have seen that coming because they weren't that team. And now they're back to the team that they really were, where Cam Newton is an average quarterback, no better, honestly, no better than Joe Flacco. I mean, he's a guy that, and they're different quarterbacks, but in terms of, like, they can win you games, they can make beautiful deep balls, but they're always in pass ratings in the 80s, and they're just not that good. They're fine. They're franchise quarterbacks. They're your quarterback, but they're just not great, right? That's who he is. That's his range. He's not in the Phillip Rivers range. He's not in the Matthew Stafford range. He's not in the Marcus Mariota range. He's not in that range, right? He is in the Alex Smith range. He's in the Joe Flacco range. He's above the Sam Bradford range, but not by much. He's above the Andy Dalton range, but not by much, and Andy Dalton might be in that range, if you ask me, and I think about it some more and more. He's not in the Andrew Luck range. He's not in the Russell Wilson range. So, that's who he is. The run game was actually okay today, but they couldn't commit to it because they were behind early. You look at the receivers, Kelvin Benjamin couldn't do anything against the Seattle Seahawks secondary. Defensively, they're a disaster. They let up 40 points today, and just an absolute disgrace. I saw so many defensive bodies on the floor, and it was ridiculous. So many people were falling down and falling down and falling down. You let someone run for 75 yards on an end around. That is not a play that is so amazing. No one could see it coming. Just so hard to stop an end around. Everyone can stop a freaking end around, dog. Your cornerbacks stink. They can't make plays in the run game. Your secondary, it's bad. You're starting Michael Griffin, who's awful. You have to, I get it, but man, he stinks. Trey Boston, he's not very good either. I'm very disappointed in Luke Kuechly and Thomas Davis today, because you just can't let up 40 points. And, you can look at individual plays and say, okay, they didn't play that bad, but man, they let up 40 points today. They were on the team that let up 40 points. Quan Short, he actually played the best from what I saw watching the game firsthand. So, man, this team is a joke. They're 4-8. They stink so bad, awful. They're back to who they were, right? I remember before last season, I had the Panthers going 6-10, and this is who I thought they were, and they weren't last season, but they are this season, right? They're back to who they are, right? This is who they've been for the past, 6 years. They had a very good year in 2014, or maybe it was 2013, but beyond that, this is who they've been, and they're back to who they are, right? So why are we shocked? Why? We shouldn't be shocked. This is who they've been. This is who Cam Newton has been. When it comes to the Seahawks, again, your defense played great, but your Sherman slowed down to Kelvin Benjamin, so that's good for him. You saw you had a bad play when you led with the D ball, but that was because what's his name, Earl Thomas was out for that play, so you're not too concerned about that. Your team is good. When you go to the NFC Championship, can you beat the Cowboys? I think you can, right? This is what I love about this matchup for the Seahawks fans and for the Seahawks team. Not that I care, because I'm a damn Titans fan, but the Cowboys, the way they beat you offensively, it's literally, well, not literally. The offensive line you have to account for. But in terms of skilled players, we're just talking about Dak Prescott, Ezekiel Elliott, Dez Bryant, Cole Beasley, and Jason Witten, right? The Seahawks can cover those guys. I think they can. The question is up front, can they handle that Dallas offensive line? Now, it's going to be tough. Michael Bennett, though, he came back today. I didn't see too much of an impact, to be honest, but maybe after today when he gets his feet under him, he'll be better. I like their chances, man. You think that Richard Sherman can slow down Dez Bryant. You know that Deshaun Shedd can slow down, and Earl Thomas and Cam Chancellor can definitely slow down Cole Beasley. You're talking about just putting Bobby Wagner or KJ Wright and slowing down and just shutting down Jason Witten. You got to spy Dak Prescott. You can do that. You have guys all over the place that can do that. Earl Thomas can do that. Cam Chancellor can do that. You have linebackers that can do that. Your offensive line in the run game, that's going to be the biggest problem. Can you slow down Elliott in this Dallas offensive line? I have to analyze that more. I have to look at more film to conclude for sure. I think he can. I'm not 100% sure yet. We will see as these weeks progress. So there you go. Those are my thoughts on the Sunday Night Football game between the Seattle Seahawks and the Carolina Panthers. What are your thoughts? Comment down below. I want to know. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, and most importantly, to subscribe. And until next time, this has been the MJ Take on Sports Fan Entertainment, and I'm out.